Hello, my name is Nelson Delgado. I'm an energy psychologist in Mississauga, Ontario, and in this video, I'll be going over the quintessential things you need to know so that you can navigate 2026 with more confidence, more self-assurance, and with a stronger inclination to liberate your true self-expression and doing so in the most emotionally regulated and divinely guided way. So let's get right into it. Now that we've sort of finished Capricorn, the whole idea from the Capricorn season was the mantra, I will be of service. And there'll be things I'll be announcing in the not too distant future regarding services that I'll be providing through my website and through my community for those that are looking for reconnection to their true self guidance. The 2026 theme for Capricorns will be integrity before ambition. In this season, we began the year confronting power, status, and responsibility. You can see that happening in Iran today with the challenging of status and power in the religious governing system that they have in place. Switching status from concentrated power that oppresses to freedom of expression and freedom to be who they are. And then taking responsibility for one's actions and taking the opportunity to make changes that will benefit everybody. This is service rooted in honor, not hierarchy, to become the new measure of leadership moving forward. The self-study questions here for you are, where have I tied my worth to productivity, title, or recognition? Number two, who or what do I genuinely serve when no one is watching? Number three, what kind of legacy am I actually building? The embodied task that you can do is to commit to one responsibility for a period of a month that benefits others and brings no external reward. And here's a quote that'll help you facilitate a spark to go in that direction. Power without presence collapses. And what I mean by presence, I mean self-guided, self-empowered presence, not egoic presence. As we move into January 20th in the Aquarius season, the mantra will be, I discern with a healed heart. The 2026 theme in Aquarius will be about justice through emotional maturity. The theme for this time is to learn that vision without empathy becomes tyranny, that discernment requires heart-based intelligence, not ideologies. Here are 3 self-study questions you can consider. Where do I defend ideas instead of listening to people? How does my emotional state affect my sense of truth? And lastly, can I hold multiple perspectives without needing to be right? The embodied task here for that period is practice listening in one conversation without interrupting, correcting, or reframing. Here's a quote that will spark you in that direction. Truth without humility divides. As we move into the Pisces era in February the 19th, the mantra will then be, I have faith and trust in myself and the Creator. This theme is about surrender without collapse. This time is for us to ask to trust in life's unfolding without escaping into fantasy or martyrdom. And what I mean by martyrdom, it means hyperactivity that burns you out. The self-study questions are, where do I confuse surrender with resignation? Number 2, what desire am I clinging to that blocks peace? And number 3, can I trust timing even when outcomes are unclear? Here's an embodied task for that period. Choose one desire and release expectations on how it must manifest. And here's a quote to spark that. Waiting is not passivity, it is trust learning to breathe. Moving on to March in Aries, which is March 21st, the mantra will begin with I experiment in doing without fear of failure. And this theme is about courage without aggression. It's about healing identity wounds by learning to act without proving, forcing, or fighting. The self-study questions for this period is, where do I push because I feel insecure? Next one is, what would action feel like if failure were allowed? And lastly, can I act from curiosity instead of urgency? Here's an embodied task for that period. Try something new that month with no performance goal, only experience. And a quote to spark that would be, true power does not shout, it waits and then moves with grace. Moving on to Taurus starting April 20th. The mantra will be, I have everything within me to accumulate and share. And the theme is simplicity over accumulation. This is having to learn that excess clouds clarity, having value return to one's essence. The self-study questions for that period are, what am I holding on to out of fear rather than need? Number 2 will be, where does simplicity want to enter my life? And number 3, how do I define enough? Here's a task that you can take part in. Remove one unnecessary possession, commitment, or habit. And the quote to spark this, what is essential speaks for itself. Moving on to Gemini, May 21st. The mantra will be, I prioritize my thoughts to what matters most to my soul. And this theme for that month is presence over mental noise. This period confronts distraction, superficiality, and performative thinking. The self-study questions for this period are, which thoughts nourish me and which drain me? The second one is, where do I speak to be liked rather than to be true? The last one is, what happens when I pause before responding? A task that you can take part in for this period is schedule one daily pause with no input, no phone, no conversation. And a quote to help you spark that is, influence rooted in clarity invites consent rather than compliance. Moving on to the Cancer area, June 21st, the mantra will feel like, I feel long enough to understand my emotions, but not lose myself to them. And the theme will be about emotional maturity. It's about learning to feel deeply without drowning in it, reacting from it, or retreating into it. The self-study questions will be, which emotions do I avoid or dramatize? Number 2, how do my feelings guide me without controlling me? And lastly, what boundary supports my emotional safety? A task for this time is name one emotion daily without acting on it. And here's a quote to help with that. Emotion felt fully becomes wisdom. The next area is in Leo, July 23rd. The mantra is, I will be receptive to divine will and follow its lead. And the 2026 theme to this is leadership without ego. This is the time for this willpower to release the need for performative power and or heroic identity. The self-study questions are: where does one need recognition to feel valuable? Number two is, can one lead without being seen? And lastly, how do I respond when others don't follow me? The embodied task for this is support someone else's vision without attaching your name to it. And the quote to spark it is, leadership that endures does not announce itself. Moving on to Virgo starting August 23rd. The mantra is, I learn what works without overanalyzing. The theme will be discernment from the heart over perfection. This is about transforming confusion into imagination and practical wisdom. The self-study questions will be, where do I overthink instead of trust? The next one is, what feels intuitively correct, even if imperfect? And lastly, how do I measure progress realistically? An embodied task would be, complete one task imperfectly and stop when it's functional. And the quote to spark this is, confusion is the soul reorganizing reality. Moving on to Libra season starting September 23rd. The mantra here is, I balance intuition and pragmatism to achieve beautiful results. And the theme is harmony through integrity. This is where we confront compromise that betrayed truth. The self-study questions here are, where does one sacrifice authenticity for peace? Number two is, how does one sense when balance becomes avoidance? And number three, what does true fairness feel like in my body? Here is one task that you can integrate during this time. Speak one honest truth calmly instead of staying silent. And a quote to spark this is, harmony cannot be built on self-abandonment. Moving on to the Scorpio season, starting October 23rd. The mantra is, I desire authenticity, transparency, and welcome depth of being in others. And the theme to this period is trusting beyond trauma. This is about transmuting secrecy, control, and fear of betrayal into transparency. The self-study questions for this period are, where do I protect myself by withholding truth? Number two, how has past betrayal shaped my expectations? And number three, what does healthy vulnerability look like now? An embodied task for this process is, share one truth with someone who's safe, without manipulation or agenda. And a quote to spark this is, trust is rebuilt through transparency, not control. And lastly, the Sagittarius season starting November 22nd. The mantra will be, I see the path when I'm patient enough to listen to a higher power, such as your higher self or ancestral guidance, or even higher than that. 2026 theme here is wisdom through patience. This is where the archer learns that forceful belief can fracture truth. The self-study questions are, where does one rush meaning instead of listening? The second one is, how do I distinguish faith from certainty? And third, what guidance emerges when I stop trying? The embodied task here is, delay a major decision until both logic and intuition agree. A quote to spark this would be, wisdom begins when certainty ends. And here's a closing reflection for this video workbook for 2026. 2026 is not going to ask humanity to become more powerful. 2026 is asking us to become more present, more humble, and more trustworthy. First with ourselves, then with each other. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it brought you incredible value on how to guide yourself through this year. And I look forward to your comments and how much you appreciate it down below. Please like. And if you're really finding this content and all the other content I have valuable, please subscribe. I really appreciate it because this is my purpose, to provide the value you need to become your best self. And what I mean by best, I mean the self within your core gets to rise and reassure the voices between our ears that everything's going to be okay because we know what's the best thing to do after healing and after empowering thyself. Take care, everyone, and be real.